Guys, I thought this was a joke when I first came across it over the weekend. I thought that this was rage bait, but it's real. The Odyssey cast is mostly confirmed at this point, and it appears, according to all the information we have right now, that Lupita Nyong'o is going to be playing Helen of Troy in Christopher Nolan's adaptation of the Odyssey. And originally, this was being misreported months back
Yep.
that Zendaya was going to take the role, which somehow was even more ridiculous because she's so overexposed. Zendaya is actually going to be playing Athena, which I find equally ridiculous.
Also, make
But
note, guys, that this photo here is not from the movie. It is a photo from
no,
the movie 12 Years a Slave. There was a whole bunch of discussion going on about whether Christopher Nolan was inherently trying to make her like less attractive than she is.
she's supposed to be this like world renowned beauty, the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Have you read the book?
And the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
well, I was forced to read all of these
In school?
like all this Greek mythology in school. Yeah, for
Okay.
like but I don't remember all of the details, but I'm vaguely familiar with the story.
Mhm.
Um and it's not just people insulting Lupita Nyong'o for her looks. It's mostly outrage about the race swap. And the most obtuse response from people on the left in this conversation is it's a fictional character, therefore there's no logical way that they could be race swapped. But let's just look at the way that Helen of Troy is actually described in the original text. She's most famously called white armed, emphasizing pale skin, fair haired, which also indicates that she has fair colored hair. And then you also have descriptions of her as having golden, blonde, light hair. There is a description of her golden curls in Greek, fair complexion. It's just like none of this stuff can be twisted around in any other way. This is a race swap, but the obtuse response from these people is always the same thing. Like, oh, here's one. If an immortal god turned himself into a swan, raped a white woman, and that woman laid an egg, and that egg hatched into Lupita Nyong'o, her being black would not be my first question.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the scripted Redditor response to this.
Also, I want you to not, you don't have to accept their premise because they have their own discussions about colorism and the shade of dark skin actually matters enough to debate. There is a discussion going on right now about the recasting of T'Challa as, of Black Panther, and discussing which actors they believe are the correct skin, the correct shade of black to play T'Challa in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So when they use this argument here, it's a sidestep. It's not actually what... Okay, never mind. You know what? I don't want to fall into that category because it's not fair to say that this is what they are doing because I'm kind of referring to them as a collective. But there's a whole subset of people on the other side of this issue that don't just believe that race swaps are okay, but plenty of the ones on the other side of the issue think that it should come down to how dark the skin is as opposed to just being black with a capital B.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast the goalpost moves when it's in their favor.
We got 20 quick from Tuxedo. Is it Tuxedo Tuxedo Mask says, we all know the person playing Helen of Troy should be Mary Morgan. There you go. They think it should be you.
I would rather not.
No?
But they definitely could have done better than this.
Okay, instead of the face that
said,
launched 1,000 ships, it's the face that launched 1,000 simps.
Launched 1,000 shit posts, maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
And everyone is drawing comparisons to the 2004 movie Troy, in which Diane Kruger played Helen of Troy. And now they're saying, which is equally obtuse, well, Diane Kruger's not Greek, so that's basically the same thing as a race swap.
Mm-hmm.
And this person said, Helen of Troy is a mythological figure. She can be played by anyone. Her race is unimportant to the narrative. Don't be a stupid, racist grifter.
Mm-hmm.
Lupita Nyong'o hasn't been confirmed for the role, but she's one of the most beautiful actresses. Even that is up for debate. And it's true that this, by the way, has not been confirmed, but I did try to find out which parts of the cast have been confirmed so far. This isn't it, but it's looking like the most likely scenario. And it would be very Christopher Nolan to make this decision.
I mean, look, Christopher Nolan used to get a lot of crap for his mostly white and male protagonists in his movies, and a lot of people thought that his hiring John David Washington in Tenet was literally like his response because the character was named the protagonist. But if you watch any of the honest trailers based around Nolan's, there's actually an honest trailer called like every Christopher Nolan movie ever. And it's like the mostly white, mostly male cast, and it's all kind of repetitive. And this could be his answer to that. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, obviously, we would consider it a bad thing because he's not putting the art first. He's putting, a response to the public there first. But he also has a little bit of leeway there because he's not casting any random actors. He's casting very, very talented ones. So it's not like he picked some name out of a hat. And I'm the one who's made the argument before that most of the time, most people give the benefit or they give leeway as long as the actor doesn't make it a big deal and they're a talented enough actor. Nobody cares that Nick Fury is played by Samuel L. Jackson. And if it's a big enough actor, a lot of people, I'm not saying the people in this chat, I'm sure the people in this chat will give them no quarter. But plenty of the normies will give leeway as long as the actor is talented.
So these are the confirmed castings according to GQ back in November, I believe.
Yeah.
It's Matt Damon playing Odysseus, Tom Holland, Telemachus. And then it does list Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy in this article. John Bernthal playing King Menelaus, I believe the husband of Helen of Troy. Robert Pattinson is Antonius. Anne Hathaway plays Penelope. Zendaya plays Athena. John Leguizamo plays Eurymachus, and Mia Goth playing Melantho. And then we still don't know who Elliot Page is playing in the movie. That's also just another reason why people are fatigued with the casting announcements for this movie. I saw people calling Lupita Nyong'o Helen of Detroit. And Brett came up with Felon of Troy. That was pretty clever, actually. But speaking of the selective outrage, it was literally just last week that Odessa Azion backed out of a movie because the character she was cast as is Mexican and Jewish, and she is not Mexican, and therefore was obligated to leave the role to someone else and drop out of the film. And yet, I'm not hearing anybody saying, well, it's a fictional character, so it shouldn't matter. Yep. And by the way, it still doesn't matter unless it's a race swap that's going the other way around, because we've seen how people reacted to the Cleopatra race swap over at Netflix.
Look, I've never, me and you have gone back and forth about race swaps all the time. Most of the time, it's never bothered me, and I never blame the actor because I know every actor just wants to make a paycheck. Blame the producers. This falls squarely on Christopher Nolan's shoulders, and I don't believe anybody expects the actors other than Odessa Azion, literally to take food. If we're to buy her at her word, and she's not rich, which is what she's saying, right? Even though she's a Hollywood Nepo baby, she's trying to make money for herself. If she's willing to throw away that opportunity, that's actually it's almost like I look at that and I'm like, that's just a sign of weakness. You literally took food out of your own mouth because some people said some mean things about you on the internet. I care more about the producers choosing the wrong people for, based on what the character looked like than I do the actors just wanting to get a paycheck. That doesn't matter to me.
Even in that case, they were only directing outrage at Odessa, even though the producers were the ones responsible ultimately for the casting decision. It's just that she's the most visible person to blame.
Yeah.
And then
people are like, why isn't anybody complaining about Jacob Elordi? I'm like, they are. He just doesn't care. He's smart. He does not care, and he knows that normal people don't care.
Right. Exactly. There was all of this backlash for Jacob Elordi playing Heathcliff in the Wuthering Heights remake, but and also, of course, for Margot Robbie, given that she's in her mid-30s playing a teenager, but it was more so about Jacob Elordi taking the role from a person of color. And he just never commented on it. He never apologized. He never explained himself. He didn't bend the knee. He kept it going. And, it's probably just the best course of action to just act like it's not happening, and it gets memory hold as soon as it arrived.
Also, you know why that works? And it's almost by accident. You know why that works for the white actors when that happens as opposed to the black actors or the minority actors is it becomes a point of discussion in the interviews for the minority actors where they're like, what does it feel like to be the first X to play this character? And then they have to have an opinion on it, whereas they're not bringing it up to Jacob Elordi. They're like, what does it feel like to be the first white guy to play a Romani? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't come up, so it gets left off the table, so it doesn't end up on the interview circuit, so nobody cares. And then the people going to see the movie don't have to care, and he doesn't have to say anything about it.
Yeah, and the interviewers always want to give the minority actor or actress an opportunity to shame everyone in the fan base.
Like, what the best thing that the Harry Potter franchise could do right now is quash any interview with the guy playing Snape. Okay? Be like, you cannot bring it up. We're just going to be like, how does it feel like to play such an incredible character once played by the legendary Alan Rickman? Oh, I'm so excited to do this.
That's the only safe answer.
Don't make it racial at all, and we'll see if it works. Now, I don't think that's going to be particularly helpful in such a memorable character, but they should just be ignoring it for this. We got a big super chat here from Seer. It says, all hail Pop Culture Crisis. Hail. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just thought it would be funny to mention Andrew Klavan's response to this controversy because I really didn't expect him to weigh in, but here was his take. I get that colorblind casting only goes in one direction, and I get it's been so overdone, we now feel we're being lectured in morals by some of the least moral people in the country, i.e. Hollywood. But the pic in the retweeted post below is an unfair picture of Lupita Nyong'o, who is not only a spectacular actress, but also a babe. Helen wasn't a blonde either. I'm going to take the road less traveled here and comment on this movie after I've seen it.
Rad, but still. Does Andrew Klavan
According to Andrew Klavan, Lupita Nyong'o gets the certified babe stamp of approval.
Andrew Klavan needs to start a segment called like Babe of the Day, where he starts giving women the certified Andrew Klavan seal of approval.
We need to know who's a babe and who's not. Klavan, make this a recurring segment. If you're listening, please.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.